Hi everyone! Today, I'm here with news that has lit up headlines and social media. The end of the romance between actor Ken Yaman and DJ Sarah Bluma. And watch out, because this wasn't a calm breakup. It was a sudden twist full of doubts, photos, and silence. A love born on the road and broken during a project. According to what Cannes representative Kunait Sail has said, this story began like a fairy tale. Venice was the start, Spain the final stage. While Cannes was building his career in Italy with successful projects, the relationship seemed to be going great until a work trip changed everything. The couple traveled to Spain for the launch of a new project. Sarah was there with him. Everything looked fine. And on top of that, Cannes was offered another production in the same country. They accepted, and filming was set to begin a week later. But right then, the first strange sign appeared. Sarah didn't want to stay. Sarah's unexpected decision Ken asked her to remain by his side. He told her her presence gave him strength. But suddenly, she decided to return to Italy. That choice was the first blow. Ken started feeling that something didn't add up. His representative says it clearly. Ken confessed that something felt strange. That feeling opened the crack. And a few days later, the bomb dropped. The photos that shattered everything Ken was filming in Spain when he received a message from Italy. Inside were photos of Sarah in a nightclub, very close to a man. No one knows who took those pictures or who sent them, but the impact was brutal. Ken spiraled, called her, and she didn't answer. According to Sail, Ken sent the photos to Sarah with one final line. "It's over." Soon after, the actor unfollowed her on social media. For his circle, that was the public confirmation of the end. Ken, again, according to his representative, closed the chapter like this. Each one must go their own way. Betrayal or misunderstanding. This is where everything gets murkier. Because Sarah still hasn't spoken. And that silence opened a flood of questions. Does she feel guilty? Were the photos real or taken out of context? Who is the man next to her? There are theories for every taste. Some say he was just a friend or someone from work. Others think the photos were sent by people close to her ex-husband, like a revenge move. And Ken, it seems, doesn't believe in coincidences. If he suspects something, it's because he sees real reasons. Sarah isolated in Spain. Her side adds another layer. They say Sarah felt alone in Spain. Ken was locked into long filming days, and she couldn't find her place. Italy represented stability, work, and her people. If that's true, distance and loneliness may have worn down the relationship even before the photos. Maybe the images were only the final spark of a fire that had already been growing. The day Ken changed on set. And there's a strong detail from the shoot. People on set said that the day everything ended, Ken seemed different. He checked his phone between takes, tensed up. His face changed. Normally, he's playful and energetic. But that day, he looked pale, silent, and went straight to his dressing room without talking to anyone. You could tell the breakup hit him hard. Is reconciliation possible? Officially, the representative's message is firm. The relationship is over. But the media say Ken acted out of emotion. And if it turns out the photos didn't mean what they looked like, maybe the door isn't completely shut. Everything depends on one thing: whether Sarah breaks her silence. Because as long as one keeps working and the other stays quiet, nobody knows the full truth. And when either of them speaks, get ready, because this could turn into another media storm. What I feel when looking at everything surrounding Demet Özdemir in this story is a strange mix of exhaustion and clarity. Exhaustion because it's become an endless soap opera that barely seems to involve real people anymore. Clarity because when I remove the noise, I see a pretty clear pattern. Demet is at the center of the spotlight, but not necessarily for who she is, rather for what she triggers. And to me, that says a lot about how her image has been handled lately. It seems to me she operates in a space where spectacle outweighs feelings. I'm not saying that as a moral insult, but as a gut sense. Too many scenes, too many twists, too much need to keep people hooked. There are comments about marketing and strategy, and I can't help thinking the same. This story keeps stretching as if someone needs the attention not to fade. And in that sense, Demet gives me the impression she knows perfectly how the machine works, when to stay silent, when to appear, when to let mystery do the work for her. It may be media intelligence, yes, but it also turns everything into theater. Another point I can't ignore is the perception of a huge ego that many people sense in her. I don't know if it's ego or simply self-assertion, but there's a me-first energy that, in such an exposed relationship, clashes with any attempt to build something stable. Sometimes, I feel Demet doesn't want to be anyone's partner in the classic sense, not because she can't love, but because her center of gravity is elsewhere. Her career, her space, her freedom. If that's the case, fine. But then I don't understand why keep feeding a romantic narrative with no solid base. That's where, to me, the contradiction starts. Then there's the issue of priorities. I think a lot about what someone commented, that she could remember from time to time that she has a small child. I don't take it as an attack on her motherhood. I'm not here to judge that, but as a sign that her life has real layers that don't fit well with constant melodrama. Having a child changes your rhythm, your decisions, your bonds. And I believe that if she's in a phase where she can't or doesn't want to sustain a relationship continuously, there's nothing wrong with that. What's wrong is pretending she can, or letting the public believe it while privately the story collapses. That's why I understand why people are fed up, not only with the media mud, but with the feeling that everything revolves around someone who absorbs visibility without offering truth. There are very harsh, even cruel comments about her, and I don't buy that gratuitous cruelty. But I do recognize the root of the anger. When someone seems to use a bond with another person to boost their own spotlight, the public can smell it. And it seems to me, Demet, consciously or not, has become tied to that idea of being there so the camera doesn't go out. Still, I can't see her as a simple villain. I think Demet is more complex. She may be a woman who's learned to survive in a world where public narrative devours you if you don't control it yourself. Maybe that's why her moves look cold. She learned to protect herself through distance, strategy, ambiguity. People often mistake that armor for lack of feelings, but I see more self-preservation logic than malice. The issue is that in that self-preservation, others can end up used like chess pieces. And that's where the human side hurts me. Because if the story with Can was real, even in parts, I feel Demet didn't know, or didn't want, to protect the balance. And if it was fiction from the beginning, then it's even worse that it was allowed to grow into a circus. Either way, I sense a lack of emotional responsibility toward the people involved, toward Can, and also toward the public who gets emotionally invested. In short, my view of Demet Özdemir is uncomfortable but honest. I see her as very skilled at keeping herself in the center, maybe too skilled. I see independence, character, ambition, but also a tendency to let the show devour the truth. I'd like to see her out of this constant drama wheel because I think her real talent gets buried under the foam. If she wants to be alone, let her be alone without selling romance. If she wants to love, let her do it without a script. I don't need her to be perfect, only clearer with herself and others. Because when everything looks like strategy, what gets lost in the end is the simplest thing: trust.